let's level with each other here.
Let me ask you about Libya. The president was asked who it was that denied requests for additional security to the consulate in Benghazi and why. The president did not directly answer that question, so I'll put it to you.
Well, the answer to the question is that's why this full-blown investigation is going on. I answered the question in my debate where the president and I are aware of the requests, and I honestly said no, we were not. Secretary Clinton's confirmed that never got to us, and what the secretary pointed out, under law, we're required to have a commission that is headed up by one of the leading diplomats of our time, Tom Pickering, in Republican administrations, Admiral Mullen, and they're going to get to the bottom of this. It's required as a matter of law. What kind of request came in? When did it come in? Where did it go? How was it handled? And whereas, as the president made clear in his answer when Governor Romney kept trying to politicize this thing, he made it clear that the president has even a keener interest than anyone else. I knew Stevens. He worked on the ambassador. He worked on the Foreign Relations Committee for Dick Lugar when I was the ranking member. The president knew him and knew his family. This is something we want to get to the bottom of to make sure something like this never happens again.
100,000 jobs.
On the subject of Libya, I want to talk about it, not the exchange. I think there's been a lot said about that this morning, but it led to another interesting exchange where the president firmly and pointedly chastised Governor Romney for politicizing a tragedy like this, a national tragedy. The father of Ambassador Stevens said, quote, "It would be really abhorrent to make this into a campaign issue." So I want your response not to the president, but to the father of Ambassador Stevens.
Well, I would first say to him, and I think they had their memorial service yesterday, that we mourn his loss. This man did so much to serve our country, as did the other 3 Americans who lost their lives. But what we owe Chris Stevens, what we owe these Americans who gave their lives, are to make sure that we get to the bottom of this so we can prevent something like this from happening again. That's what's so troubling about this story, is that as the facts have come out, it doesn't speak well of how the administration has handled this. We know that they asked for more security. They didn't get it. We know that there are Marines guarding our ambassador in Paris, but not our ambassador in Benghazi, where we have al-Qaeda.
Weren't both sides, Congressman, guilty of a rush to judgment on this story?
Say that one more time. I apologize.
Weren't both sides guilty of a rush to judgment in the immediate aftermath of that attack?
Well, I don't think that they should have sent their UN ambassador out 5 days later to say that this was from a spontaneous mob reacting to a YouTube video. I don't think the president should have gone to the UN and mentioned the YouTube video 6 times and take 2 weeks before acknowledging this was a terrorist attack. Even the State Department said that they weren't backing up that story. And so what we, meaning we, Mitt Romney and myself, and Democrats and Republicans in Congress were saying is, let's get to the bottom of this thing so that we can prevent something like this from happening again.
Let me end on a much lighter note, Congressman. On November